Welcome to toilet time with the Carries.
Toilet. You gotta plan this better. I wasn't ready for that.
Oh, you don't have to be ready.
Toilet time. Toilet talk. It's kind of funny. We get of all the things about living in a van or full-time in RV. I think the most common thing people ask us is about our toilet and if we like our toilet or how do you use your toilet. But we never really, I don't know, it's not the type of video we do, but we get so many questions about it. We thought, let's do a video about our toilet.
Inquiring minds need to know.
Yeah.
So I think how we're going to tackle this is going to be listing the pros first and then the cons, and then if we would do it again. So we have been using this Nature's Head composting toilet for over a year full time. So I think that's a fair amount of time to give it an honest review.
This is not a how-to video. Whether what you should do. This is just our experiences, what we like, what we dislike. After living in our last van, the Road Trek Zion SRT, that had the traditional RV black and gray tank. We were in that for 3.5 years, and now we've had this for a year. So there's things we like and don't like. So let's, like you said, let's start with what we
Okay.
like.
Let's start with the pros. I made a list so I don't forget because I tend to do that. A big one for us is water consumption.
Yeah, that's a huge one. So I'm not sure what most vans have. Our Road Trek had a 36-gallon freshwater tank, but when you use the toilet, every time you flush, water's going down the toilet. So it's a big use of water. And as you know, if you boondock like we do a lot, we're out in the middle of nowhere sometimes, water's precious. So when we built this van, we built in a 40-gallon freshwater tank, and none of it goes down the toilet. These things don't require water to use. So that's made our water last a lot longer than it used to.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Another major pro, I think, is we don't have to go to dump stations to dump a black tank every 5 days.
Yeah, that's our Road Trek with the, vans have to have pretty small everything, and our black tank was small. And so 2 of us using it full time if we're out away from bathrooms was 5 days. And that's not a big deal if you're part-time or going out for a week or 2, but if you're full-time and you're looking for a dump station every 5 days, forever, it gets kind of old. And they're not all created equal.
No, and some you pay dump stations.
Yeah.
Some are free, some are pay, so it can add up too.
Yeah. Depends on where you're at in the country. If you're in a campground, you just use it there. But if you're trying to find a station somewhere, a lot of places in the country, like where we lived in Oregon, there's several free ones. We found some over on the East Coast that they're hard to find, and I think what's the most we ever paid?
I think $35, but also certain times of the year they are closed. So after September, they're closed because of freezing and whatnot. So what else?
Oh, when your black tank is full, it's full. You're done. There's no more use. You've got to plan ahead to deal with that, and it's not hard to do. We never really struggled with it.
No.
But with this, usually it depends on humidity and all sorts of things. But 2 to 4 weeks. This last time we went 4 weeks without dumping our compost, and it's not like, oh my God, we got to dump it today. Typically it's like, okay, in the next few days we need to find something based on how hard the crank is turning.
Yeah.
It's time to go find something in a few days.
So it's not urgent.
It's not, yeah, it's never been urgent.
We've filled our black tank before.
Oh, we filled our black
Like,
tank, and
okay.
it's okay, then that's
not another job.
That's not ideal.
Yeah.
This is kind of an odd one that wasn't quite as expected. If you look at the toilet, when it's installed in our wet bath, this is just the intake for air, and air flows across the top of the compost, and it comes out here, and there's a hose that plugged in here, and it goes under the van.
So it vents outside.
Right. So the compost looks and smells like dirt.
And we use the coconut core. There are other options, peat moss.
We use coconut core, as you saw earlier in the video. But when you're sitting on, this is almost embarrassing to talk about, but when you're sitting on the toilet going, air is coming in here. You don't feel it, you don't hear it, it's quiet, but it's exhausting out. It's not going into the van, if you know what I'm saying. It's like
there's no odor.
Yeah, it doesn't stink as bad. Do we really have to include that in the video? Is this going to be in there? Should we leave it in? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, people would want to know. Also, in general, sometimes like on a hot day, a black tank can have an odor, even if you are using Happy Camper or some other substance in the black tank to prevent odors. It still inevitably happened if we're in super hot temperatures. We do not have an odor with this toilet. The only thing you might smell is slightly musty, I guess.
Like dirt.
Dirt.
It
Smells like dirt.
Yeah, that was the big thing. There was no practice with this. It's like all we had experience with was the black and gray tank that most RVs have. When we built the van over at the Georgia shop at Humble Road, we wanted to go with the composting. We wanted to try it, but you don't know until you use it how it's going to work.
Right.
And you watch all these videos and people say, trust me, it looks and smells just like dirt when you go to dump it. And I was like, yeah, okay,
right.
sure. So the first time we do it, we take it outside and I'm like nervous, and we take the top off. It's like, huh.
Yeah.
I've been using it like 3 weeks. Like, looks and smells like dirt.
Yeah, they're
Put it in a bag, you dump it, and there you go.
Dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's not fully composted
No.
in the time. You can read more about it. There's other videos on that, so we're not going to get into the actual composting of the coconut core and all that. That's a whole separate topic. Moving on to the cons.
Okay.
I have to read my notes. Okay. It's not, I mean, and these aren't deal breakers. This is just our experience again, but dumping the urine tank every
It's a couple days.
2 days, especially with 2 people using it full time. And
yeah, and you don't want to let it get too full. So, you know, every couple days.
You just have to be mindful of it, that's all.
You will, I guarantee you will at one point forget to dump it, and then you'll have a mess. And then you won't forget again, hopefully. At least that's what happened to us.
We've done that once.
Yeah,
and then you drilled holes in the container. But to dump it every couple days instead of a whole black tank every 5 is worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's awkward at times if we're in a campground and it's full and I have to like
pack it
over to the bathroom and deal with it. But I have an occasion when I put it in like a bag.
Yeah.
So it looks like I'm carrying a bag of something, but it's actually a bucket of urine inside the bag that goes down the toilet.
You just have to get used to that being normal.
I've thought about painting it black just so it doesn't look like anything. I don't know.
Putting a sight line in it so you can see.
Yeah, you got to be able to see.
Definitely need to be able to see it. Okay, another con, I think, and especially if I were a single person traveling alone, this would be a deal breaker for me, is it is cumbersome to get in and out of the van.
Yeah, so if you know, it's not a simple process and it's not easy to lug this thing, especially when it's full, out the van. And
well, I feel like how we have our van set up too, we have the island, like we have that.
We made it a tight fit.
It's a tight fit, so we knew it would fit, but it is a tight fit, and that in itself makes it a little awkward to get in and out, but it is somewhat heavy to kind of lug around. And then to dump it, you put the bag, you take the top off, you put the bag over the bottom, and then you tip it over. So I don't know, I don't think that's a process I would like to do alone if I were traveling alone.
For me, if I was not full-time, I wouldn't have this. This would be only something I would do if I was full-time.
True. So for this next part, we'll actually show you inside the toilet to explain kind of how that works. So what you have here is the urine goes in the front and the solids would go in the back when you open this.
So for me, I have no issues with it whatsoever. When I'm going 1 and 2, we have to talk about this.
I
1
guess,
and 2,
yeah.
number 1, number 2, whatever. Okay. You know what I mean. We all do it. So when I'm going, I open up the trap door all the way. That's wide open. I do my business. Urine goes in the front. Solids go down the back. And when I'm done, I close it up, and it's simple. The only thing I don't like about it is, and it's because guys are spoiled, is I have to sit down to just pee. So not a big deal, but guys, if you think you're going to stand up and use this,
it would be a challenge. Although with this door shut, urine can go here and it diverts to the front where it needs to go anyway. So
it's just a mess to clean up, so it's easier just to sit down, do your business, and not complain about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna read an excerpt from the user's manual of this Nature's Head toilet because I need to explain what happens when I use this. While seated, the unit may be used with the trap door in the open or closed position. Whether male or female, the user's liquids and solids will be directed to the correct locations from this position. I've determined that is a lie for me. I don't know what it is. I know there's females out there that love this system, but let me demonstrate what happens. So just going regularly, it just goes everywhere, right? Like it goes back here, but it does divert to the front, so it's not a big deal. Now, what happens when I have this trap door open? I need to go number 2, but sometimes I also need to go number 1. And the way they explain it is that can happen at the same time and things go where they need to go. That has not been the case for me at all. Like 1 just goes everywhere. So I can't go 1 without it getting down the trap door. It's an impossibility. I've tried different postures, different seating positions, like sitting up straight or slouching, forward on the seat, back on the seat. It just does not work for my anatomy. I don't know why. So with this trap door open, there is no way that I'm getting the fluids in the front. It's just impossible. So for me, it doesn't make for a relaxing bathroom experience. So I always laugh because I'll go in to use the bathroom and there's a lot of this noise. Because I'm like opening it, oops, gotta go 1, shutting it. Opening it, gotta go 1, shutting it. So that, it's not a deal breaker for me, but I don't love that. So I don't know what the answer is for that.
And this should be a relaxing experience, and I really wish there was an answer for her, because I still find it a relaxing experience.
I don't understand like what is happening, but apparently there's females that can get the fluids in the front and the solids in the back without a problem.
But you've talked to a lot of other women that have the same issue you do.
Yeah, so to all you ladies out there, whether you have this kind of toilet or not, if you're 1 and 2 at the same time, is it going in 2 separate areas? Yeah. I don't know.
So that's probably the only serious con. I don't really have any other than, you know, it's just kind of a bulky thing to deal with, but I think I've forgotten what it's like to pull up to a nasty dump station, get out, it's all wet, you know, get the stuff out to, you know, dump the tanks and rinse out the tank like we always did, put it all away. It's just that's gone. So I mean,
would we do this again over a black tank? Yes. Yeah. Is there a better system out there for us? Possibly. We just don't know yet.
I've talked about the possibility of trying to make my own sometime. To be honest, we've never experienced any other type. There's with their Airhead and some others, but we haven't experienced the good or bad with those. I'm sure there's good or bad with all of them, but I think that unless someone can come up with a way that helps messy Irene,
I've got a problem, man. That's all there is.
That's the only thing I don't really like about it. So it's convenient.
Yeah. So bottom line is, we would still have this same toilet. We would buy it again if the 2 options were black tank and this toilet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's also, I guess one other thing I forgot to mention for a con is it is a large toilet for a van. I've seen some that are smaller, and since we have a 2-foot by 3-foot wet bath, it leaves very little room for showering. I'm standing right here when I shower, and there's not a lot of room. But actually what I do a lot is,
and it's worked well as a wet. We leave it in.
Yeah, we've heard of some people that have issues with the seal around here, with water actually getting into the composting. We've never had that problem. I took a shower last night, and I have not had any problem. And the way this lid goes down around the bowl, it doesn't get in there at all. So overall it works really well. But it's one of those things that if I was not full-time, it's not what I would go with.
Right.
So if you have any questions about it,
don't talk to us because we're not experts.
If you want to know anything more about our experiences or offer advice, do so in the comments below. What else you want to talk about? More bathroom stuff?
I think that's good, right? What else did you want to know about it? We pretty much covered.
All right, so this hopefully is the last time we do a video on bodily functions. Okay. All right, is that it?
That's it.
All right.
Carry on.
Carry on.